In this segment, I fight all the bosses up to Menace, or the rest of the bosses up to Menace, and then save right before him. Just so I can get a separate segment for that fight, in case I want to reset. So yeah, right now, just using the cutoff special to get to the Condemned Tower backwards, which saves a lot of time and a lot of climbing. And then I use the axe warp to also save a huge amount of climbing. Since it warps you to the top of the room, you can use it just to go straight to the top of the tower, and then succubus back in to get into Guro's room. And then I make use of backdash canceling with Killer Clowns just to kill Guro pretty quickly. So one thing is that I had tried to axe warp from the right and get into Guro's room, but because then I would reasonably, or like I would have thought I would have appeared walking into his room, and the boss cutscene door would have stopped me from warping. But for some reason, I would stop warping, but I would appear one level below Guro, so I couldn't figure out how to get around that. So I ended up just warping from the other side and then succubus glitching back in. So not really a huge deal, but it's just weird inconsistency that I couldn't figure out about the axe warp. And then after that, just climbing down the Mine of Judgment and fighting death. One thing is that I couldn't come up with anything to make this go faster. It's not that slow just because I already Black Panther again, but I couldn't think of anything that would let you warp down through the floor. And the axe warp doesn't work just because there's nothing to stop you from warping through a wall, and you would go up instead of down on most rooms. And then as for the death fight, I just use Death Scythe because it does a pretty good amount of damage, and you can attack rather quickly with it. And I really can't use, it's not reliable to use Killer Clown just because he flies up so much. At the beginning of this fight though, I could have Killer Clowned him right at the start when he was coming for me, but I figured didn't want to waste more time pausing. And then one thing that I always mess up is that with the Death Scythe special, normally enemies are low enough to hit with the skull, but Death isn't, so you have to aim it so that the actual scythe will hit him instead of the projectile. So I don't think in that fight I missed it, but in one of the previous segments where I died on a bad one because I just kept missing the seal, I think I missed like all of the special attacks. And as you saw, I'm pretty bad at that seal because I make the circle way too or with a smaller diameter than necessary. So again, if you draw inside of the circle, you're going to fail, but if you go sloppily outside, it'll let you complete it for some reason. As for this part, since I didn't have Mud Demon, I was planning on using the Axe Warp to warp through, completely skip this room and just go to the end of this room, but I couldn't figure out how to not go into the wall and fall out of the map, so I ended up having to abandon that idea. Plus, I would have skipped over Hippogriff, which is one of the requirements that I set out for this type of run. And then yeah, just using the succubus glitch to avoid running around, just because the runes are huge. And then here is another use of the Axe Warp, and again cancelling on a boss door, because if the boss door isn't there, then you just keep warping and appear in a few rooms down. And then this fight goes kind of well, I think. I just use Death Scythe with Dead Pirate and Devil to do a lot of damage, except he doesn't stay turned around, so it takes longer than I'd like. So at least I get the magic seal on the first time. On the first try, rather. And then I just prepare my B equipment for the final fight. And Claim Solace does a little bit more damage than Death Scythe on Menace just because he's weak to Holy, so I switched to that. And then after this, it's just run to the save right before the end. I'm not very good at Hippogriff, apparently. Yeah, I get owned by these spikes pretty badly. And then just one last succubus glitch, and that's the end of the run, basically. The next segment's just like the minute and a half fight against Menace.